So I'm excited to welcome Kathy O'Cleary from Platform Creative Agency. Hello, Kath.
Hi, Kathy.
Hi, Tanika. Hi, Sabine.
And Jonathan Zuckerman from Attractions Retail Partners. And hi, Jonathan. And I have to say, I've worked with both Kathy and Jonathan on a number of different projects. They are creative partners that help you take your attraction from good to great. Really passionate about creating powerful experiences, using your brand purpose to bring it all to life, and obsessive about the detail. And they help brands and attractions think about their experiences at a strategic level, all the way down to the minor detail in terms of the operational type of stuff. And I can vouch for both of them. So over to both of you.
Thanks so much. Hi, everyone. Oh gosh, I can't change my slides. Gosh. Just give me 1 second. Let me try it again quickly. There we go. So, can you see? I presume you're hearing me. So Platform Creative Agency, we provide comprehensive insights, strategies, and platforms for businesses to succeed in the local global landscape. And we deliver creative direction for business to advance through our product design, retail design and development, curation, cultural storytelling, and interior design. And we specialize in South African and African cultural design and curation, and work extensively with designers and artisans through the continent. So we're currently working with the V&A Waterfront, Groot Constantia, South African Mint, and Zeitz Mocha. And we've worked quite regularly with attraction retail partners who outsource retail operating partner of selected tourist attractions in South Africa. That's Jonathan's company. And it's a multidisciplinary team of professionals with extensive experience in chain store and independent retailers and e-commerce. And they provide the best in class, and I think very important, a planning system simply too complex and expensive for standalone retailers to operate or for attractions to operate themselves.
So if I could just butt in here, Kath, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah.
You need to share your screen again. You need to share your screen again. We're not seeing your slides.
Oh, gosh, so sorry.
All good.
Can you see it now?
Not. I'm not.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Still not.
I don't know what's gone wrong. Oh, let me try share screen. Sorry, I beg your pardon. Can everyone see it? Yes, apologies, yes. Everyone. Okay, so what we really have found is that attraction retail has moved well beyond the souvenir shop. And I love this quote from Michael Richards, who's a retail specialist in England, who said, "Long gone are the days when a shop could be tucked away in a gloomy corner, relying on bland postcards and tasteless mugs to swell the coffers. A museum shop now has to take center stage and be front-facing and vital part of the whole visitor experience. In doing so, it can become one of the strongest marketing tools an organization can possess." So if you take a fantastic store like the Design Museum store in London, the museum store is part and parcel of the experience of the entrance of the grand hall at the front of the museum. But they also have high street presence on the high street outside. So they have another store, which is very much like the window to the museum. We have that at the Zeitz Mocha too. But more importantly, they're developing e-commerce, and e-commerce is becoming one of the biggest strategies for retail attraction. We all know that in the last few months, many attractions didn't have a retail store online, and we're losing a lot of money as a result. So it could have been an amazing way to earn money. But great retail attraction is seamless with the visitor experience. One of the best examples we have in this country is Babylon Store, where the garden experience and the retail experience are seamless. So that should be an attraction in itself and a huge draw card. If you've got a great shop, people will want to come just for that. Tate Modern, for example, in London, or MoMA in New York would be other good examples. People are now looking for unique shopping experiences. They're tiring of shopping malls. They're tiring of the buying on screen in such a way that when they're out and about, they want to have something beautiful and unique. But the other essential thing, and a lot of our retail attractions fall down on this, is that they don't cater for the local market. So really good attraction retail should cater for locals and international visitors, and then sell it and present it in a way that no one else does. So in partnering with Jonathan and Platform, what we do, we believe that good retail needs to tell unique stories in an original way, just as much as a museum or an attraction would do, telling their own stories. The retail has to be has to have a synergy with that. So recently we were honored to work with the Zeitz-Mocha on retail for the William Kentridge exhibition, which was one of the biggest exhibitions of its kind in this country. And we had to work 9 months in advance to create a retail experience that honored, celebrated, and enhanced the experience that the visitors were going to have. So the products needed to tell a story of what was totally relevant to that experience. And we were getting visitors from young school children right through to very high-end art collectors. So we created a lot of products from 5,000 Rand signed poster right down to something under 100 Rand. But it had to honor the artist and the exhibition and the pedigree and the caliber of William Kentridge. So we had to engage with the Institute, and in this case, the artist and his studio. And then, very importantly, we employed the relevant local designers for a more authentic experience. But we also create experiences to enhance retail, because, I think Joe touched on it, that theater, that moment of magic that really enhances the entire experience. So, for example, our company Platform created the V&A Festive campaign last year, and we worked with the South African Mint Museum to create a whole museum experience that led to their retail experience, which is the selling of Krugerrand. So we have to compete with e-commerce, and bricks and mortar retail experiences need to offer more than just shopping. It is part of the experience economy. And more recently, and in light of lockdown, with the V&A Waterfront, we conceptualized and celebrated something online, because, of course, the V&A Waterfront, which is one of the country's largest attractions, had shut down because of COVID, with only a few shops open. So we worked with them and came up with a concept to celebrate and support local creativity with an exhibition called 100 Beautiful Things, which actually finished today. We signed it off after 4 months. And through social media, we celebrated all the creativity. We created an online exhibition. So it was 100 posts over 100 days. We developed a microsite gallery. It's available for anyone to see. It developed into a webinar series, and then we provided a platform for the waterfront themselves to disrupt it for Youth Month with 16 voices. And then now we are installing a printed exhibition. So it's gone from the virtual to the physical. And that's all to spread love and support for our creative community, and also to celebrate the waterfront as a destination at a time that's very difficult for everyone involved. But good attraction essentially is about original content. And this is a project that got postponed because of the lockdown, and we're chomping at the bit to get going on it again. But it should have unique product relating to the many layers of storytelling that you tell through your attraction. Whether it's sensory, it's physical, it's educational, all the experiences that the visitor have had, the rustling of the wind in the trees, the geese under the trees, tasting the wine, a history to it, doesn't matter. It all has to be relevant to any type of visitor, young and old. So when we're developing product, we really research in depth to what the attraction is. In the case of Grup Constantia, of course, it's got this amazing history, but history that we didn't even know about. Like the third owner of Grup Constantia was a woman and born a slave. So we decided to set our product development in her era of the 17th century, Anna de Koning. And our concepts never go off brand, but they're used, that we develop them to add to the storytelling of the place. And then I think it's really important that you commission authentic work. So we chose local designers who complement the brand. We're not shopping anywhere out of South Africa to tell a South African story. We're creating it here. So, for example, in developing this beautiful vine reef, we worked with a local artist, Michael Chandler. We brief thoroughly when we do that, and we then also allow them creative freedom. So in developing product for Grup Constantia, we actually invited a lot of designers to come and experience it for themselves. And then as a company, we take Michael's drawings and then develop it and apply it to product. And that gives you a much more genuine, authentic experience from your retail product. And I think it's essential that you're capturing the spirit for all visitors, whether they're young or old, they come by tour bus or independently, they're wealthy or they have got only a few pennies to spend. We cater for everything, and we're very conscious of that right through our development of products. But our goal is, and this is really important, is when they receive a gift or have bought it for themselves, the product speaks of the place from where it came and is an enticement to either visit or to return. So I'll now hand you over to Jonathan, who'll explain how we go about it.
Hi, everyone. So Kathy's touched on quite a lot of the sort of softer issues, and I'll touch on the sort of the harder issues around retail, specifically specialty gifting retail. I think it's important to just look at what's happening generally sort of pre-COVID. I think it's no secret that independent gifting retail has been battling for a number of years. It's being hit by online. FMCG retailers are expanding the number of categories that they stock. If you think about what you can buy today in a Clicks or a Pick and Pay or a Disc, and you can buy gifts there. So it's getting harder and harder for independent gifting retailers. And of course, there's the rise of the experience economy, which the attractions industry has benefited from, but people are spending their money on experiences rather than accumulating unnecessary stuff. COVID-19's now arrived, and I think we've probably all seen the similar, the quotes which say that what a crisis does is it accelerates the pace of change where there's an existing trend in place. But it doesn't generally create sort of a brand new trend. So hopefully what we're seeing now is a blip on the upward trajectory of the experience economy. So that being said, although obviously the pain at the moment is very real. So that being said, what's the opportunity in retail? Well, there's a tourist opportunity and a local opportunity. Tourists are finding it harder and harder to find good specialty. Tourists and locals are finding it harder and harder to find good specialty retail in sort of mainstream shopping centers as those retailers themselves are battling. Tourists want to shop on location, and locals want to support small business, and they want to shop in a socially responsible manner. So that being said, there's an opportunity for attractions to add a professional retail offering to their existing offering. The problem, of course, is that retail is a famously difficult business. It's famously tough, and it's becoming tougher and becoming increasingly specialized. The systems are becoming more expensive and more complicated and more difficult to manage. The skills you need to run those systems, the staff to manage them, have always, you need to become more numerate and more systems orientated, and at the same time give great service. So retail's becoming tougher, but at the same time, the opportunity for the attractions industry has never been greater. As a specialized outsource partner, what we want to do is we want to offer you the opportunity to access all the specialist skills and systems at a reduced risk and reduced overhead, and it'll hopefully improve your results. Right. So if we look at a retail business, the first thing we need to look at is obviously sales. So what do you need from a sales point of view? You need an offline system that can work when there's no internet. You need a cloud-based server that can keep your data safe. You need to run a highly controlled business. Unfortunately, in South Africa, we've got high staff theft, so you need to know how to minimize theft with regards to, you need to have good controls, system controls, and people controls. You need to have the flexibility from a promotional point of view to adjust your product mix. And you need to be able to sell tickets. We believe, your point of sale should certainly allow you to sell tickets, memberships, and other non-stock items, because you can do that at zero commission if you do it through your point of sale. If we look at our case study example, that started 3 years ago as a single bricks and mortar location. It's now expanded into 2 bricks and mortar locations. We're busy implementing a fully integrated online system, which means that the stock and what have you will integrate seamlessly with the point of sale and with the back end system. It's become a full omni-channel system. What's happened over the last few years is that unfortunately this attraction's seen a decrease in footfall, but at the same time, due to a focus on service and a data-driven change in the product mix, we've managed to increase the retail sales by 32%, despite the declining footfall on the brand. All right. The next leg is from an admin and finance leg. What do you need from your retail business? You need security. You need good systems. You need to be able to segregate incompatible functions. So too often in small businesses, you've got the same person doing many functions, and that creates problems in terms of risk and error. So you shouldn't have the same person ordering the stock, figuring out how much to order, paying the supplier, receiving the stock. It creates problems and it creates errors. You should be able to enjoy decent banking rates because you can get smashed. Small businesses can get hurt by credit card fees and what have you, which are too high. So we take our case study example. This particular client of ours has no head office involvement in the day-to-day retail function. They just put their feet up on the desk. No, what they do is the retail is a problem that they don't have. They can focus on their core business, which is the attraction itself, and that's what they need to focus on. All they do from a head office point of view is import a monthly journal into their accounting system, which is Xero. We meet with them regularly, obviously, to report back, and then to make sure that the retail side aligns with the wider strategy. And of course, they do benefit from chain store bank fees because they're benefiting from our bulk buying rate. Kathy, next slide. Purchasing and stock is what should typically take the most time, and certainly what we spend the most time on. So what do you need to succeed in retail in this, under purchasing and stock? The starting point is you need validated clean data. Without clean data, you've got no chance. You need to manage your supply chain optimally. Suppliers change, there's supply chain in the industry. You need to attend trade shows. You need to know what's selling, what's current. You need to constantly look at your product mix. If I look at our case study client, in 2.5 years, we've loaded, let's say we've loaded 1,000 codes on the system, although it's considerably more than that. Of those, only 32% are currently active. We've actually churned 78% of the codes. So we try a category, it works, we put more and more into that. Obviously, one needs to balance one needs to keep the risk down when you're trying things, but it is interesting to see how fluid the product range is. You need to constantly be looking at your product mix. You need to be getting the best price from your suppliers, and you need to, of course, be buying the correct quantities and planning your buffers continuously. And then at the end, you need to control it with things like stock takes. In our case study example, as I said, only 1/3 of the products that we've got on the product file are currently active. 2/3 have been deactivated. And it's worth noting that their shrinkage is only 0.12%. If you know the average, that's about 1/5 to 1/10 of what the shrinkage rates are in this country, although that includes, those figures would include FMCG retailers as well, where the shrinkage would naturally be much higher. Next slide, Kath. And then finally, from a the last sort of leg of the retail business is human resources. You can do nothing without good, reliable, honest people who give good service, smart on a weekend. They need to be numerate and they need to be systems literate, and they need to be well spoken. And these people are hard to find and hard to keep. But if you've got them, then they can produce wonders for you. In our case study example, we handle the full outsource function. We give a good service. We've got low staff turnover. As you can see from the shrinkage, we've managed to control that. So we've got a good, honest team, and that hasn't happened by accident. And the only input from the client side is the biannual import of the payroll for the EMP 501, which is basically a biannual thing for SARS. And that's it from my side. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thanks, Kathy. Thanks, Jonathan.
Kathy, I clocked those earrings. I've got the exact same patchouli ones, same color, everything.
Available at a Light Smoker shop.
Or at the watershed at the V&D Waterfront.
Fantastic.